Good afternoon, students. So, how are you all? Hope you all are doing good and staying healthy at homes. So, welcome to the online English classes. So, students, as per the academic planner for the month of September, we are left with only one topic, that is note making, which we are going to cover today. So, our today's topic is note making. So let's go on to the note making. First of all, what are notes? Why we make the notes? What is the need to make notes? As students, some students are always used to make the notes. So why we make the notes? What is the need to make the notes? So actually, making notes is a very useful practice because it always helps the students for preparing the exams and revising for them. So it always helps condense long chapters into the short ones to the point material, which further helps the students to remember the gathered information. So notes always helps us to revise, to prepare for the exams, and to condense the long topics, long chapters into the short and the important ones. So always texts are better understood with the help of notes. So we always get the things in a better way in the form of notes. If we will get the notes, so always we get the things in a better way. We always get the important information, and it is very helpful for the exams also, for preparing for the exams also, because just before one day of the exam it is not possible to go through the detailed explanation of any topic. So notes are very helpful in that case to revise just before one day of the exam. So notes are very important for preparing of exams, and because it will give us the important information, and also gives us the information in a short way, and also gives us the important points of the topics. So why we make the notes? So just to prepare for the exams, just to revise for, and to condense the long chapters into the short and important point. So for that we always make the notes. Now next question arises, that how to make the notes, that what is the procedure to make the notes, how we can make the notes. So first of all, we need to read the passage carefully and get the main idea of the passage, that what is the passage about. So read the passage and understand the theme and subject of the passage, and after that underline the important points, mark the main component or subparts of the passage like details, points, opinions and conclusions. So make sure that no important information is missed. So next is important, underline the important points, and after that suggest a suitable title for the passage, which must be short and crisp based on the central idea of the passage. So next is you have to suggest the suitable title for the passage after going to the passage. And next comes that after suggesting the suitable title, please frame your headings and subheadings. So main heading and subheadings must be framed after that. So it should be the main idea of the passage, and that headings and subheadings must be presented in bullets or numbers. So you have to make use of numbers while writing the headings and subheadings. Next comes the, if the subheading, if there is something to be added under the subheading, so the subheading can be further provided with important details, writing them in points specifically under the subheading to which it belongs. If there is something to be added under subheading also, so you can write it as subheadings. And next is, do not write the full sentences while making the notes. So in notes you can't write the full sentences, write it in points only, and use abbreviated forms of the complicated words wherever necessary. So abbreviations are very important to write in notes, so make use of the abbreviations whenever and wherever necessary. And last is, use proper indentation or proper space to write the headings and subheadings. If you have to write the subheading, you have to start it from slight right of the main heading. So use proper space while writing the points. So use proper indentation to present the notes. Subheadings are written a little further from the main heading. Be consistent while numbering. So In this way we have to make the notes. We can make the notes. First of all, read the passage, mark the important points. Next is suggest a suitable title, frame your headings and subheadings. Do not make use of the full sentences. Use abbreviated of the form of the complicated words wherever necessary, and use proper indentation while writing the points. So in this way we have to make the notes. So now, how to use the abbreviations and symbols while writing the notes. So in this way you can write the abbreviations. You can use the abbreviated form of the long or complicated words. First of all, use abbreviations and symbols, always help, which will help in saving time and space. So there are different ways to abbreviated long or complicated words. First of all, you can also use the initials of two or more words. For example, United Nations. For United Nations you can just write UN. Next is, you can also use the first few letters of the words to make the abbreviated form. For example, important. For important you can write IMP. For construction you can write CONST. So in this way you can make the abbreviated forms. You can there are some universally recognized abbreviations also. For example, for opposite, OPP. For government, GOBT. So in this way you can write the abbreviated forms. For etc we always write ETC. No need to write the full word, etc. Next is removing the vowels. You can also make the abbreviated forms. For example, reading, RD and G, you can just write. For books you can write BKS. So in this way you can make the abbreviated forms. For example, there are universally recognized symbols also. In place of writing greater, you can just make that symbol equal. Symbol for equal, plus, minus, smaller than. So you, for all these words you can just make the symbols, make use of the symbol. So in this way you can write the abbreviations. Abbreviations are very important to write while making the notes. So in this way you can make use of the abbreviated forms wherever and whenever necessary. And after that, how to write the summary. After making the notes you have to write the abbreviations, and after that you have to write the summary. And summary must contain the key points only. Summary must be in 70 to 80 words. Do not exceed the word limit while writing the summary. And summary must contain the key points of the passage only. And take care of one thing: you need not to go to the passage to write the summary, because it is very difficult to concise that passage of 300 to 400 words into 70 to 80 words. Please go through your notes which you have made, and join all the important points to write the summary, and in that way only you will be able to write the summary in a better way, which will contain the key points only. So the summary must provide the information in the same order as given in the original passage, but while writing the summary, please go through the notes which you have made, and combine all the points, important points, and write out the summary in the form of sentences, which will make your summary short and crisp, informative and original. So all for the summary you have to go to the notes, to your notes, self-made notes, not through the passage. So in this way you have to write the summary, and summary must be in 70 to 80 words. Do not exceed the word limit while writing the summary. So in this way you have to make the notes. Now, what is the format of writing the notes? So first of all, title, you have to write point number 1, title. Next is point number 2, and under point number 2 there are 2 to 3 points. First is main heading. Next is, for example, if your title is pollution, so next is your next second point is causes of pollution. So write the main heading, causes, and under the causes you can write cause number 1 as 1.1, cause number 2 as 1.2, cause number 3 1.3. So but start your subheading from slight right of the main heading. So in this way you have to write your headings and subheadings by making use of the numbers. Now if there is something more to be added under point number subheading 1.3, you can write it as 1.3.1, but start it slight right of the subheading. And if there is some more things to be added under 1.3.1, you can just write it as any extra detail. So in this way you have to write the headings and subheadings by making use of the numbers and in points only. Now comes your second point, that is second point, second main heading. For example, if there are some preventive measures, so you can just write as point number 2 preventive measures, and first preventive measure 2.1, second preventive measure 2.2. So in this way you can write your headings and subheadings by making use of the numbers. Now comes, after making the notes, you have to write your abbreviations in a box. So write whatever abbreviations you have used, write it in a box. At least 4 abbreviations are must. And at last you have to write your summary. So in this way you have to make your notes. You have to attempt the question of note making. So let's go on to the example, but before that I will give you some abbreviations which you can use while making of the notes. So in this way you can make use of all the abbreviations. For example, there are some universal symbols, some are mathematical symbols which are universally acknowledged. You can use all these. For example, for and you can make this symbol, for therefore, because you can make these symbols, i.e. for that is, percentage sign for percent, 100 for 100. So eg, for example, viz for namely. So there are some mathematical symbols for greater than, equal to, at the rate of. For all these words you can make just the symbols, no need to write the full words. Now comes the abbreviations. You can also write it as acronyms, contractions, short forms. So write the acronyms like all these Central Board of School Education. You can just write CBSE, commanding officer. You can just write CO. For chief minister you can write CM. So no need to write the full sentences, just write it as the abbreviated form. Next comes your, you can also use the contractions. And in contractions, for example, you can use CAPT for captain, CO for company, COL for colonel, DIS for discount, ESP for especially. So please go through all these abbreviated forms and always write the abbreviated forms for the longer complicated words. Next is your short forms. You can write BK for book, DR for doctor, DFT for draft, DEPT for department, ESTD for established. So all these short forms, contractions, acronyms you can use for making your notes. So please go through, please once go through it. I will pausing the video, you can go through all these words and make use of all these abbreviated forms for the notes. Now let's go on to the one of the example of making the notes, that how you have to make the notes. In this way you will given the passage, you will be given the passage. So this is the passage, please read it after pausing the video. So this is the passage. Next part of the passage, next part of the passage. So this is the passage, and these are the question. In this way you will get the question on note making. That question will be divided into 2 parts. First of all, on the basis of your reading of the above passage, make notes on it in points only, using abbreviations wherever necessary, and also suggest a suitable title. And second part, you have to write a summary of the passage in not more than 80 words using the notes. That means you have to go to the notes to write the summary, need not to go to the whole passage to write the summary. So in this way you will get the question, and in this way you have to write the answer. For example, point number 1, title, no control over common cold. Second point, how to control common cold, and how to control, this comes under 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. Point number 2, reasons, what are the reasons for cold, and first reason 2.2, second reason 2.2, third reason 2.3, and third point, problem of identifying viruses 3.1, 3.2. These are the two subheadings under point number 3. And if there is something to be added under point number 3.2, so you have to write it as 3.2.1, but start it from slight right. And point number 4 has 4 points, 4.1, 4.2, 4.3 and 4.4. Point number 5 has again 4 points. So in this way you have to make the notes, and after the notes you have to write the abbreviated forms, abbreviations in a box. At least 4 abbreviations are must. So these are the abbreviations which have been used in the notes given. And after the abbreviations you have to write the summary in 70 to 80 words. Summary must be effective, short, crisp and informative. Must be informative. and do not exceed the word limit. Write the summary in 70 to 80 words. So in this way you have to attempt the question of note making. Now I have given you an assignment, and please go through this passage. Write the notes, summary and abbreviations used for this assignment. Please attempt the question, and pausing the video, please read the passage carefully and make notes out of it, and write the summary and abbreviations also. This is the assignment you have to attempt. So this is all about note making. Please ask for any doubts, students. So in this way you will get the question. Please attempt this question, this assignment, and please ask for doubts if any. So thank you so much, students. This is all about the note making.